How's it going, everyone? OBWOODCHUCK here. I'm on my way home from my CCW training class. I passed with a perfect score. Aha, perfect score. Yeah. And I'm 100% on the written test, 100% on the shooting test. Oh, I feel like Rambo now. All right, so on my way home. Get home early, about 4:30. Nice. I should have called the wife before I went live, let her know I was on my way. But I'm on my way. All right, did it. I got no viewers. No viewers. Oh, well, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. I'm happy I passed. Perfect score. I'm stoked. All right, so now I just got to follow up with the Sheriff's Department. I have an interview on January 6th with the Alameda or Contra Costa Sheriff's Department for their side of things. But I got my certificate. I'm good to go. Hey, who is that? Somebody's here. So yeah, exciting, very exciting. It was a lot of fun. We got to do the mag dump, where you go up, within 3 feet of the target. You hold the gun at your side. You empty the mag into the target. That was fun. Just bam, 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 bam. Oh, that was a lot of fun. I think I spent about $100 worth of ammo today, but that's all right. That's all right. I got to stop and get more ammo. But yeah, getting my CCW in California. A lot of red tape, a lot of hoops to jump through, but it's not impossible. I have no criminal history, no criminal record. I got nothing to hold me back. Of course, when you do the interview, I think that they try to ask you some loaded questions to kind of try to see where your mental state is, and why do you need a concealed carry. That's probably going to be an important question that they'll ask. Why do you want to be able to carry a gun? And the answer can't be to shoot fucking people. Oh, pardon my language. The answer can't be to shoot people. So I've already got my answer kind of figured out. Same thing I told them. So I'll be taking over my dad's business, and I'll be carrying large amounts of money, and I'll need to be able to defend myself and my livelihood. And that's probably about as good as you're gonna get. Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. I'm OBWOODCHUCK. Thanks for visiting. I won't be reading the comments terribly. Well, actually, I will be reading the comments terribly because I'm driving and I don't have time to watch a whole lot of comments. So, but thank you for joining. Appreciate you joining. So yeah, I'm just talking about the concealed weapon class I just took and passed. Hey, Lady LDS, I passed. I got a perfect score on the written and the shooting test. 30 out of 30 on both. So I'm excited about that. Now I still got a bunch of hoops to jump through in order to get my actual license, but that's okay. The hardest part is done, the 16-hour training class. That was fun. Thank you, right on. Thank you, I really appreciate it. But yeah, the class was a lot of fun. The instructors were real down to earth. I was expecting kind of a drill sergeant vibe. Didn't get that. They were really cool. Matter of fact, I think we spent half of the class just BSing, which is kind of makes sense because it was only, I can't remember exactly how long ago he said, but it wasn't long ago that the class was only an 8-hour class. And then within a year or two ago, they upgraded it to a 16-hour class. But I have a theory they just took the regular 8-hour class and stretched it into 2 freaking days. Probably why we spent a lot of the time just kind of talking. The Witcher is real. Sassy and sassy. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. If you could hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, that would be awesome. Tomorrow, oh yes, a reminder. Tomorrow I will not be live for my Bible stream at 7 unless I am able to go live at the TP USA event in Berkeley, because that's where I'll be. So $100, yo, if you give me $100, I don't know what I'd do. I'd be very happy, that's for damn sure. Appreciate it. But yeah, oh, $20, $30. Well, I still see $0 up there, but thank you for getting my hopes up. I appreciate that. So yeah, a lot of fun. Instructors were cool. We just watched a bunch of little videos and then talked about them and then shared some anecdotal stories and talked about politics in California and how crazy the laws are. And, I mean, we got some crazy laws. Matter of fact, one of the rules is you have to check the laws every week. Check the laws every week because they change that often. Wow. So, that sucks. One more thing to have to try to keep on top of. I'm already stretched thin trying to memorize all the building codes. Yeah, every week, especially in California. You might not have to worry about that in Utah where you are. I don't know what the gun laws are out there, but yeah. But out here, every week, check and make sure, because they want to trip us up. You know, they want to try to make sure they put some new law on that you didn't get a chance to watch. I don't understand the mindset. The mindset of try to make the legal resident the criminal at every opportunity. You know, and make the illegal the law-abiding, the legal resident of America. Family's been here. His whole family. I think he's the only one that hasn't actually. Who knows? It might. Well, did I just lose you guys? I think I lost you guys and then it went back live again. Oh well. All right. So looks like the guy didn't send me any money. If you're gonna get up here and just start talking about sending me money, well then, I guess I'll accept the comments. I mean, comments are comments and they help me with the algorithm. So please, say whatever you want for now. So how's your day going, Lady LDS? Glad to see you here. I am very happy to be on my way home early. That's nice. Whew. It was hot out there. Spent the last 3.5 hours in the sun on the range. But it was a fun 3.5 hours. I had the best grouping. There was only 5 of us, but still, I had the best grouping. I was proud of that. Although I think I have the opportunity to shoot more than these people do, because mostly they all go to ranges. I don't do the range. I mean, I have, but I don't need to. I have a friend that has property where we can go and shoot all we want. No range fees. All we have to do is buy the ammunition and some gas, because he's a little ways away. Although, you know, honestly, he's only like 30 miles away from where I live, but it is in, pardon my language, you know what, never mind. I'm not going to say what I was thinking of saying, but it's in a very rural part of Livermore, where a lot of dirt roads and hills. Like if it's rainy season and you don't have 4-wheel drive, you're not getting up to his property. You know, and we're in a motorcycle club, but we can't take our motorcycles up there. Well, you can if it's dry and if you're really good. But the whole road up there, you know, like I said, it's a dirt road and the water travels down it. So it's got all these little, you know, water canyons that get worn down. And if you're trying to ride a motorcycle if you hit that just wrong, it's gonna lay your bike right down. So just lay it right, just set it right on the ground for you, and that would be very upsetting. So we don't ride our motorcycles up there unless we have to, which fortunately I've never had to. But like I said, no range fees, no rules and regulations, no range master coming over and checking to make sure you're doing stuff right, which I guess there is a downside to that. Like, I wasn't as familiar with some of the rules as the other guys were because I don't go to the range all the time. You know, like I said, upsides and downsides, pros and cons to everything. But it is nice to go up there and just, be relaxed. We don't have to worry about who's going down range because nobody's going down range. We get up there, we set up our targets first thing in the morning, usually a bunch of fire extinguishers that will go out and set on his property. We could set them up to about 200 yards and still be in his property. He's got a big piece of property, so which is really cool because we set up. He owns like the two hillsides with a valley and a lake in the middle, which is really cool. So we go down into the valley and set up our canisters, either our fire extinguishers. Sometimes we'll bring empty propane tanks because they make a really cool clinking sound when you hit them. You hit them. You could be 300 yards away or 200 yards away. I don't think we can set them up 300, but 200 yards away, it doesn't matter what you're shooting. If you hit it, you hear that telltale clink. So they're really cool to set up. Of course, fire extinguishers are one of the funnest because, now it's competition that gets to be the first one to hit them until they explode. But yeah, that is a lot of fun. So again, it's only 3 people here. No, nobody new, it doesn't look like, but again, I qualified. I got my CCW certificate. Now I just have to go and qualify with the sheriff's department. That's going to take a couple of months. My interview is set for January 6th. And then hopefully I don't get denied for some stupid reason, like, and we see you, your voter registration is a Republican, so you qualified as a domestic terrorist. You cannot have it. Was the case in California, but I think I live in a good county where I don't have to worry about that just yet. But don't be surprised if they start trying to use your political affiliations as a justification to null and void your constitutional rights. It's coming. It's just a ways off. But I really expect it to be coming. Whew. All right, who all here? My wife here? Are you here, wifey? Nope, not here. Oh, Lady LDS does not do guns. That's all right. You're in Utah. You have plenty of neighbors that do and probably care about you. So the rest of us will take care of you if necessary. Not saying that you need to be taken care of, but you're a friend. I'd step in front of you, take care of you under those kind of circumstances without hesitation. And that's one of the things we covered in this class is like there's 2 kinds of people. There's the kinds that run toward the ruckus and people that run away from it. I count as one that would want to go toward the fray, probably end up getting me into more trouble than the guy who wants to avoid it. So I have to be mindful of that. Because I want to help people. I didn't go through all these classes just stand idly by while people around me are injured or hurt. That's not what I did all this for. I want to be able to protect people. But you're supposed to focus on yourself and your family, first. And if those aren't the people that are in danger, you're supposed to try to retreat. But I could see that being a difficult thing for a guy like me to do. I wouldn't want to retreat, especially if I thought I was the only one equipped to handle the threat. You know what I mean? What kind of guy runs away and allows people to be killed or hurt in his stead because he wasn't there? You know, he had the ability and the equipment and circumstances to be in the right spot at the, well, I guess in those circumstances it would be the wrong spot at the wrong time, but I guess it would depend on who's looking at it. You know, like a defenseless lady over in aisle 7, and there's a shooter in there walking down the store taking pot shots at people, and she's trying to hide behind her shopping cart, you know, and I happen to come across and manage to stop the threat. She would probably be grateful that I was there. Well, you really got to weigh all these things, and you got to remember that you're taking your entire life in your hand every time you have to draw that weapon. You know, every single time, even if you have the most straightforward self-defense case, you're still risking it because you're going to be tried by a jury of your, a jury of your peers, which in California for me is highly unlikely to be a jury of my peers. You know, because if you look, it probably, it's over 50% Democrat, which I would not consider my peers. Know what I mean? Get my drift? I wouldn't expect a gun-hating liberal to adjudicate on my side. Know what I mean? So they're going to think of me as a hateful, violent person because I want to be armed. They don't see it as a right. They see it as they see the ends without the means or the justification. That's all they look at. You know, and they think that the gun is evil, that the gun is the bad guy, and I'm just an accomplice. It's really crazy how they think. Anyways, I'm just rambling now at this point. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here and tell everybody that I did good. I did a good job. I passed with flying colors, 100%. So if you see me out on the road, actually it's going to be a few months before this whole process is done and I'm a legal concealed carry holder. But when I am done and you see me out at the grocery store, you know, remember where I'm at. You know, in case the fit hits the sham, you know, look for me. Hide behind me. But I guarantee you, I will do everything in my power to defend anybody who's innocent. Even if I probably shouldn't, you know. Under the circumstances, I think it's supposed to be flight unless you're forced to fight. I don't know if I could run if I really thought I was the only person standing behind, you know, in between an assailant and innocent people. It would be hard for me to do that. And I don't know if I could live with myself. You know what I mean? If I was there and some shit went down, pardon my language, and I fled the scene and a bunch of people died, I'd have to live with that for the rest of my life. You know, could I have saved people? You know, and I wouldn't think of it, you know, I wouldn't be able to put it in the terms of would it have been worth it for me to try to save people? Because I think hands down, yes. Always. You know, I've always had that kind of hero complex, I guess. You know, it was the subject of some of my favorite dreams growing up. You know, being the guy that comes in and saves the day. You know, the hero. I always wanted to be the hero. But you can't get a concealed carry weapon with the mindset of wanting to be a hero. I mean, I guess you can, but you're just setting yourself up for trouble. You know, now you're looking, because then you end up looking for a fight. You end up looking to be a hero, and then you end up in court for a year trying to defend yourself, even if you were 100% in the right. So, things you really have to keep in mind. Anyways, so again, tomorrow I will not be live at 7 unless there's some extenuating circumstance that allows me to, but I don't think that'll happen. I did not expect to see the tent camp over here next to the river. Nice prime real estate for a tent camp. Are you still there, lady? I think you are. I see you don't do guns, but you're not opposed to people's right to bear arms, are you? Just curious. You know what? Actually, if you could comment, how do you feel about the people's right to bear arms? Do you believe the Second Amendment is a good constitutional amendment, or should it be changed? I'm curious. If you're able to drop a comment on the topic, I'd be really interested in reading it. I might have to wait till later, but I'd still be very interested in knowing your position. Personally, I think we need to be teaching gun safety in elementary schools. It should be part of the curriculum. The school should have 22 rifles in a gun cabinet, locked up for gun safety class, gun safety training. And I think that it should be law that you should be armed. You should have to own and know how to operate a firearm, or at least know how to operate one. I think that should be standard, basic elementary school education, and then they can continue it in junior high and in high school. I think that would be one good way to figure out if people have the mental capacity to handle a firearm. Get them young in school, you know, train them with squibs, you know, or not live rounds, so that you can see how they act or what they think. And then we can nip some of this, I don't know what the phrase is for it, these mental issues that are driving all these crazy shooters. You know, we need to identify them young while we can still correct them. You know, because once they get old and they climb on top of a building and shoot Charlie Kirk in the neck, it's too late to teach them about the consequences of their actions. You know, now they just have to pay. They just have to pay. Because the ignorance of the law does not excuse. I think that would be very important, and I think that would be a very good thing. It would go a long way toward making America even a more secure country, because seriously, the main reason we're not invaded by some other country is because they know that the American citizenry has more guns than the American military does. And it's going to be a fight down to the last man, like if they try, like when we were trying to take over, or not take over, but win the war against Japan in World War II. Every single man, woman, and child in Japan was trained to fight. Or if they weren't trained, they were still handed a weapon and expected to fight to their last breath. And they believed in our cause so much that they were willing to do that. And so that was the whole reason, the number one reason why we dropped the atomic bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, is because we knew if we went in a ground war, the casualties on both sides would be staggering. And basically, the only way to end that conflict, and it was a gamble. We didn't know if they would give up, they would surrender after we dropped those bombs. We didn't know if that was going to happen. But we had to bet that it would be so jarring and so demoralizing that they would lay down their arms and quit fighting, which is ultimately what they ended up doing, and that's how we won World War II. But terrible, terrible, terrible thing to have to do. But we need that same Japanese mindset here in America. We need to be willing and able to repel invaders. Everybody should know how to use a gun. Everybody should have to qualify on a target range, on a rifle range, and be able to defend themselves and their neighbors. And then we can go ahead and continue to live peacefully in America, knowing that the odds of us being invaded are very low. Very low. Not only do we have the oceans to separate us from most of our adversaries, but we have an armed and well-trained citizenry. The entire citizenry should be the United States militia. Should it ever be called upon, we should all be able to grab our pistols and our rifles and our shotguns and head out the door, ready to defend our children and our parents and our neighbors. Anybody that is unable to defend themselves, it's up to us to take care of them. Really, I mean, who else is going to do it? The police aren't, especially in that circumstance. The police are going to drop what they're doing and they're going to run home. They're going to make sure that their family is secure and taken care of first. Then they will think about taking care of the other people that need to be saved and helped and protected. You got to remember that there's a human element involved in law enforcement, and as much as they may love their job and love the people that they serve, their loyalty is always going to be to their family first. And so if it comes down to it, you call 911 and a million other people call 911 and the cops realize something serious is going on, they're not going to your call. They're going to go home and secure their family. And then maybe they'll go and answer your call. So you got to remember, you are your first line of defense, not the police. They come down the line somewhere. You have to make sure you stay alive until they get there. And sometimes that could be a long time. And it's a terrifying scenario to even have to brainstorm, but it's a realistic one. And we need to be ready. We need to be prepared. You never know. And with Islam on the rise and taking over Europe and taking over American cities like Dearborn, Michigan, they are, and they're obvious, and they say it out loud what they want to do. When somebody tells you that they want to take over your country and change your laws to their preferred, system of laws, take them at their word. Take them at their word. They are going to do it if they can. We are their only line of defense. And what scares me is that law enforcement, especially in some of these areas, are going to defend their right to take away your rights before they defend your rights. I guess I phrased that wrong, because they don't. Part of being a republic is that nobody has the right to infringe your rights. And that's why it's important that we are a democratic republic and not a democracy. A democracy is mob rule. If 51% of the citizenry voted that rape should be allowed and legal, rape would be allowed and legal. But because of the word republic, which grants every citizen, well, God grants every citizen the inalienable rights, but the word republic respects that. And it makes it so that you can't infringe on anybody else's rights. You can do almost anything you want as long as it doesn't infringe on this person's rights. That's the importance and the difference between a democracy and a republic. Again, a republic is your rights trump, your personal rights trump somebody else's ability to infringe them, and a democracy is mob rule. So if we had a, let's say all these states were able to gerrymander Democrat control in all the states, and they had, let's say, 51% of the population that always voted Democrat, and it didn't matter what, they always voted blue no matter who or what, and they put on the ballot that people who register Republicans should not be allowed to own guns. And then they put that to a vote and they passed it. That would be mob rule. And you would no longer be allowed to own your gun because of democracy. So that's why we are a republic and why it's important that we know that and we teach people that. Oh, I must be boring the heck out of people. Oh, I still can't tell. Ooh, hey. So I'm assuming that you are not here anymore, Lady LDS. It's the main reason why I kept talking. Sabbatical Farm Distillery. Whiskey Bottle Shop. Ooh, interesting. So, was it you, Lady LDS, the other day who was saying you still have a smoking problem? I highly, highly recommend. No, actually, I think it was not you. It was Alien Shepherd. That's right. That's right. I highly recommend the vape for helping curb your appetite for cigarettes. You still get your nicotine, but now when I vape and I get my nicotine, it smells like honeydew watermelon. And I have grown accustomed to that. So now when I smell a cigarette, it's like, ew. I smelled like that for 25 years. That's crazy. Actually, 30 years. I smelled like that for 30 years. Wow. 30 years. That's insane. Woo! All right, well, since all my viewers went away, but I got 4 likes. That's awesome. So yeah, please hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel, OBWOODCHUCK at Yahoo. OBWOODCHUCK at Yahoo.com is my email if you want to send me a letter for my Letters for Loved One segment, or just if you have questions or comments, email me. That's what I made that account for. And if you want to follow me and watch my live streams every night, except for tomorrow night at 7 p.m., it's a Bible reading live stream with my daughter in Tennessee. It's a lot of fun. Well, at least if you like Jesus and you like the Bible, it's a lot of fun. And if you don't, watch us anyways. Maybe we can rub off on you. Hey, everybody's stopping. I wonder if the bridge... It's a drawbridge over here. I wonder if they have to raise the drawbridge for a boat. I'm hoping not. Sometimes that can take forever. I need to turn on the AC. I am burning up. Alright, who's here? Who's here? Sound off. Who's here? Got 2 people here. Who's watching? Drop a comment. Where are you watching from? Whoo! Now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna eat for dinner. I'm hungry. Even though I actually ate pretty good today. A long, hot day in the sun will make you hungry every time. Well, actually, no, not every time. Some days, it's so hot, so miserable, I can't eat. It's weird how that works. Alright, guys, well, since all my viewers are dropping off, I'm going to go ahead and call this one. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for showing up. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe to my channel. I am going to be interviewing this week a lady named Beth Bourne. If you don't know who she is, I recommend you checking out some of her videos. She is a fireball. She was an environmentalist lady, and so I am assuming left-leaning. I don't know her very well, but I will definitely be digging into these questions when I interview her. I am assuming she was left-leaning, but her daughter transitioned, I believe against her knowledge, you know, with the schools supporting her and not telling the parents. That's one of the things that kind of changed this lady. She cannot abide that. You know, she needs the schools to be operating with the best interest of the kids and the parents. If you're not exercising the best interest of the parents, then you're not exercising the best interest of the kids, because it's up to us as the parents to raise our children. You know, you're going to hold us criminally responsible if our kid goes out and does something when they're a minor. If you're going to do that, then you need to allow us to be responsible for all these decisions that lead up to that. It's not fair that you can come in and dictate how and if we're allowed to raise our children the way we want. This is America. This isn't Nazi Germany where they're building brown shirt. Well, I won't get into that because it's starting to turn into that, where they're turning our children against us in schools. Our kids come out of school thinking we're the enemies, and they don't have to listen to us. Parents or the teachers are training our children to believe that their parents are wrong. Your dad is wrong. And don't discuss it with him, because he'll only get upset. But we'll just tell you, and you can keep it between us, how wrong he is, and then just act accordingly. Act as though your parents are wrong and that we're right. And we won't tell them that we told you that, and you don't tell them that we told you that, and everything will be kosher. A fun word to use these days with all the anti-Semitism running around. Just the word kosher gets under people's skin. So, yeah, another rant. Woo! Come on, people. Can you just go already? Go! Well, you gotta stop all the time. Excuse me. I am happy to be heading home. I'll tell you, staying in Stockton last night, that was an eye-opening experience. Oakland is worse, but not by much. Not by much. And I must have picked the worst place to stay in. I had to sleep with my headphones on because it was so noisy. Oh, it was so noisy. The Witcher is well. The Witcher is well. Okay. GJ Collects. Yo, I'm going to give you something. I don't trust anybody that says that to me. Yo, I'm going to give you something. Makes my hair stand up thinking, I'm not sure I want what you're going to give me. Now, if you were to say, hey there, I think I would like to give you something, I might be more receptive. All right, everybody. Looks like I'm not really entertaining today. That's all right. I don't need to be entertaining every day. But yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for the 4 people who hit that like button. Really appreciate it. I know who at least one of them is. So I thank you. And God bless. And I will see you Tuesday at 7 p.m. for sure. Tomorrow if I can. All right, everybody. God bless you. And have a good night.